Ken DeCross, founder, Wire Network. And as Doug alluded to, we have created for the past 5 years, we worked on a decentralized protocol that unites all blockchains in a decentralized and trustless way. So we're calling this, it is a blockchain, but it is a protocol stack. So there are other components to it. And that results into what we're calling the universal transaction layer.
Yeah.
So as Enzo and Anthony and Michael talked about up top, what the traditional markets are like, they're very smooth, they're very efficient. They have standardized protocols, they have unlimited access, and they have maximum liquidity. Like, you know what the price of Tesla is because the entire world can buy and sell it. Blockchain is supposed to be the future of finance. We have some limitations here so far. There's no standardizations. Everything's isolated. None of these blockchains really connect or talk to each other in an efficient way. Everyone's fragmented, complex onboarding. What Michael talked about upstairs is having a Web 2 experience and Web 3. That needs to happen before we can move forward. The centralization, bridges, actually centralized products like exchanges and others are easily exploited. Billions of dollars have been lost in the past few years. And you just waste capital as you do multiple hops to try and get to the destination that you want to get at with your capital and with your assets. On top of that, you have the AI smart agent economy coming through and putting those issues on steroids. So now we have to solve this problem for 2 reasons. And we know what the requirements are. We're deep within the decentralized AI community, and we've talked about what these problems are. So you need universal identity for these agents and for humans. Your wallet has to have access to all funds from all chains. They need to have a transaction layer that is actually not just full access, but at the speed of thought, because these agents are going to take on-chain transactions and hockey stick them. And it better be real cheap in case your agent decides to do 1,000 transactions a day versus the 3 that you would do for that same outcome. So it needs to be very cheap, very fast, very secure. Well, this is what the universal transaction layer is that Wire has created. And we've been working on this for 5 years. So in late 2020, we realized that Solana was a thing, Ethereum was a thing, Cardano is a thing. Everyone had billions of dollars and millions of users on these chains. And just like the world stock market is united. So where you can, from your Schwab or Fidelity account, you can choose any asset you want, and it's going to route to whatever exchange that company IPO'd on. So we need to do the same thing in blockchain, where this isn't like magic fairy dust or creating a new element. We just need to decentralize the system that's already in place. So, as Doug alluded to, this is chain abstraction, and it's not a bridge. There's no oracles involved, so that takes away cost and potential bottlenecks in a technology stack. So these assets never leave their native chain. That's very important. You're able to have standardized universal identity across all of these chains. So if I know your Ethereum address, I systematically know your Cardano address, your Hedera address, your EOS address, which is very important once you get into AI agent and the smart agent economy. We fractionalize the blockchain itself, so you can actually own a portion of it. Think of it like TPS. So back when Ethereum ICO'd or Solana ICO'd, they gave you an option for the gas token. They didn't give you an option to actually own a piece of the blockchain of the network. We have done that, and there's already, I believe, over 85 to 90% of the blockchain has been purchased through a node sale. And it allows cross-community development for the first time. So you can, if you are a dApp on Ethereum or Solana, you can enable, it's reverse compatible. So you can enable yourself to have universal functionality. So we're not forcing anyone to come to our walled garden, which is what other blockchains do. It's like, come to Ethereum, come to Solana, come to Polygon. We're not doing that. We're breaking those down. We're saying, put your assets wherever you want and enable, like, bolt on our functionality to give the industry universal functionality. So how did we do this? A lot of complex things, but I'm not going to get through and bore you because this is no fun. But like I said, it's an L1 chain along with other protocols, standardization protocols, and you push all those together, and that's what's going to give you a universal transaction layer that actually solves all the problems for this industry. So what's this look like? Everything you could ever want. Universal identity, universal liquidity, universal DEXs, universal marketplace, universal dApps, and I'll throw in universal agents because they're all coming. And so what does that look like? Like right now, I'll take liquidity because that's the biggest component that everyone seems to like to talk about. Right now, there's an ETH USDC pair on every type of chain. There's one on Ethereum, there's one on Solana, there's one on Polygon, every single chain. And it's like, if you have $1 million coming in to the Solana pair, the people who provided liquidity on Ethereum aren't getting any action on the money that they put in to generate yield. So what's going to happen is, again, they're not going to leave the chain. They're all just going to come up into a universal transaction layer and have universal liquidity. So your Ethereum, USDC, whatever pair you want is going to get action on whatever swaps or trades that are happening. I'll get to you at the end. So we've been busy, a few things. We open sourced all of this. So you can go to the GitHub. You can see our technology stack, and you can prove that what we've done is decentralized and trustless. We've been a major contributor to the Independent AI Institute since the very beginning. And so that is up. I don't even think everyone's on here. There's somewhere between 70 and 100 members now that all have the same ethos, which is we need to decentralize AI, encrypt it, keep it away from governments and multinationals, and still have the functionality that they're providing to the user base. Since 2021, we've raised $7 million, over $7 million. You'll see what we're doing here in a second. In terms of that, we were the first Yuga Labs Ape Chain Banana Bill recipient, which was their fund to jumpstart their ecosystem in the chain. So we were, I believe, not only the first, but we were also the biggest check given, distributed out from that fund. We're working with RBV. I don't know if Drew's in here right now. Is he in the back? All right, but Drew with RBV, he's one of our early investors. And he understood, he saw our vision, believed in it, and so he started an accelerator where 3 companies are going to get obviously accelerated with $100,000 each. Applications are currently in process, but we're getting to the final stages of not only picking the 3, but also going through the rest of the applicants and potentially giving out more grants. We've done some little trinkets just to showcase our functionality, what we can do. We did Mutagents, which if you were at ETH Denver at the presentation, this is what I announced that we did. It's just, as I say, evolving on-chain agent character. So if you want Batman to evolve from present day to the future and have on-chain attributes, you can do that. There's going to be a lot of ramifications for games, social media, networks. There's a lot of reasons to have mutating agents. We're not small. There's a few people in here. Enzo, you're one that it was just me actually for a while. And now we've gotten to a very large team, very developer focused. And one of the latest hires, and the reason that Anthony Scaramucci was here today, is because Jamie Rogozinski, the founder of Wall Street Bets, has come on to be our chief strategy officer. So there's plenty of other big names, but obviously Jamie is known for Wall Street Bets and, everything that happened with GameStop and other meme stocks before there was meme coins. That Reddit has 18 million followers on there, and we have big plans to bring that TradFi community into DeFi. So a lot of opportunities for us. Right now, we're in that 90-day pre-launch. So there's opportunities for the upcoming equity round, which again I'll get to in a second. But that'll get you. There's equity and token opportunities there. We have a 90-day fair launch, which I'll get to at the very end. And it's who here was part of the Morpheus launch? Yeah. How you were able to stake capital without risking principal for emissions of the Morpheus token. We're doing that, but we're doing it in a universal way. We were part of that creation of that capital contract. And what we've learned, and plus with universal functionality, we can do some really cool things with that. So I'll get to that in a moment. And then we're about to do the TGE and the mainnet launch here in the fall. So the universal transaction layer, it's already been built. We've already have a lot of audits done. We're just tying up the loose ends, and we're about to push this to market. So we're raising 12 million. And again, there's also that token opportunity that goes with it. And the way that I want to think about, everyone should think about it is, like, we have the universal or the transaction layer is the L1 in the interoperability, but we also have, if everyone knows who Consensus is, not Consensus where we're at, but Consensus the company that is built from Ethereum, they have MetaMask and other, what I call core applications. We're doing the same thing. So that's what we're issuing grants for. So under Wire's umbrella, we will be showcasing what a universal wallet can do, because there is new functionality that you can do once you solve interoperability. Same thing with the DEX, same thing with the marketplace. All right, and here's the launch. This is what's coming up, and we're going to be doing this phase 1, probably before the end of the month, if not the very beginning of June. And what we're doing, who stakes their Ethereum? Who adds LP like to Lido, Everstake? Okay, so I'll tell you the dirty secret that they're doing right now. They're offering you 3% for your Ethereum, something like that. I think it's like 2.7 to 3.1 on the given day. They are giving you the least amount possible for the Ethereum that you're staking to be a validator. They're giving you the rewards from the validator. They are not giving you the rewards from the MEV share that they're running on top of it. So Lido actually makes more on your money than you do with your capital. So what we're doing is we are passing through 100% of MEV share and ETH validation rewards, along with Solana validation rewards, SUI. But that's going to give you an increase on the activities that you're already doing in the space. So that's one, just to get you in. Phase 2 is because we're trying to liquefy a universal transaction layer. So we're going to liquefy the DEX, we're going to liquefy the wallet, we're going to liquefy the token. So phase 2 is where that gets pointed, that staking, that Ethereum that you stake, you no longer get in-kind rewards. You're going to get even more higher rewards, but given to you in Wire emissions. So as we grow and as we hit thresholds and we go into phase 2, the people who have been with us in phase 1, higher rewards. And so what this is going to do is we're going to take those emissions that, the ETH Solana emissions, and we're going to match that and add it to a liquidity pair for the Wire. So you're actually liquefying the Wire token and getting the rewards of Wire at the same time that you can do whatever you want with it. So it's just a full circle approach. And then phase 3, the TGE and the Universal Transaction Layer launch. This is where you're going to see the Universal Wallet, the Universal DEX, Universal Marketplaces, and Universal Agents. So you can build on Wire, or you can be reverse compatible. If you're Uniswap, if you are any DEX, like that's Hyperliquid, anything like that, you're going to be able to enable yourself in a seamless way to give your entire user base that functionality. And why are they going to do this? Why are they going to participate? Because it's increased revenue streams for them. Like right now, they have the same issue as everybody else. They don't have access to Cardano users, EOS, Hedera, Polkadot, the other different types of chains, the non-EVMs. And we're allowing them all to come in a seamless manner. And so collectively, we'll take this industry forward. That's it. That's my presentation. I saw there is a question in the back. Did you want us to ask?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jennifer Barnett in Blockchain Group. I was just wondering if you use vertical or horizontal integrations to make all of this possible, and what sort of processes are in place to have that cross-chain interoperability.
Yeah, so like I said, it's not just an L1 blockchain. We took an L1 blockchain and we think of it like a Bitcoin miner. The Bitcoin miner is built for one single purpose. It's not a general server. And so we did the same thing with us. So our chain does not allow, it's not a store of value. You can't add a token onto it. You can't mint an NFT. It is strictly a settlement layer that you have to bring your assets up into. Below that, like I said, it's not just the blockchain side. We have what we call UPAP, which is called Universal Polymorphic Address Protocol, and that standardizes data. So think of like HTTP for the internet. We did that for blockchains. And so that allows that universal identity and other data to be formatted properly. And then in between that is another protocol called WNS, Wire Name Service, and that is the decentralized routing protocol. And so that's when you put all those three together. And so what you're actually doing is, if you have Ethereum assets, you are just taking them, you're depositing it onto yourself into an Ethereum smart contract inside of our universal transaction layer. And then the deed or the title of those assets are interacting. So you don't have to, there is no like taking anything from Ethereum over to Solana, or no wrapping, no burning and minting. It just locks it in and then pulls through. And so that's the other part. So thank you for bringing it up, is how we have no bridging. It's because we pull through the validation of each network. We don't add an additional consensus mechanism into the stack. That's why it's completely trustless. So if you believe Ethereum is secure, you inherently have to believe that Wire's UTL is secure.
So who else is doing this? This is the way. Who else is doing this?
Who else is doing this? No one. So there's only two ways of doing interoperability right now. One is complete centralization, like Binance is a universal exchange. They're just completely centralized. That's something that we don't want to do. And then everybody else, whether it's Layer 0, Chainlink CCIP, any other name that you can think of in the interoperability game, if you ask them, do you add an additional consensus mechanism, which is by the way, the point of exploit of how these bridges get popped for billions of dollars. It's because Ethereum secure, Solana secure, the additional consensus mechanism that they put in between to allow these things to go from one chain to another are insecure. And that's where they get built. We've removed that functionality. And so the way that we're able to lock in and have like the deed or the title moved across this transaction layer actually solves that problem.
Yeah, so I have a question. How is Wire Network aligning to the betterment of the AI economy? How is multi-chain interaction and blurred lines against all the chains, how is that going to make it so agents can run better, faster, and smarter?
Yeah, so he was asking about if you hear about the cross-chain agents, how are they working right now? Well, they're still using that bridging or some other type of functionality to get across each chain. So if you give your agent $1,000 in a interoperable environment that doesn't include wire, here's $1,000, go get me the best yield for the day. Like that's the prompt, right? Go find me the best yield. You don't know what chain it's going to be on. You don't know how many transactions it's going to occur. It may be a high frequency trader where it's just jumping from chain to chain. Well, it's going to have a lot of fees for actually using that bridging functionality. And you're vulnerable every time that you try to jump from chain to chain. The standardization process, the UPAP part of Wire, it takes a single private key and formats it to every type of chain's address. So your Ethereum address is your Solana address. It is your Cardano address. It's just reconfigured because that's what happens. You take a key pair, Ethereum chops off a bunch of numbers, throws an OX in front of it, and that's your Ethereum address. Solana does the same kind of formatting. So if you can take a single private key and standardize it, that's the first part of the solution to allowing universal functionality without a bridge.
So I'm very lucky to take you up.
Yeah. Thank you very much.